uploading it. Yeah, good to see you, all of you. Yes, feeling better. Thank you very much. We haven't started properly yet, so don't worry, you didn't miss anything, Olivia. Just giving you the gist. Last time we have covered chapter 7, but little bit I will go over again because I remember one of the activities I didn't do. I'll go over all these 3 chapters together today. Although no question comes from process costing and working progress of process costing, but we'll go over thoroughly. Yep. So are you people ready to go? Let's see who says what. Yes, Gurjinder is the first one. Okay, Olivia. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Hannah, let's do it. Payal, yes. Yes, go ahead. Archran, Evelina, yes. Fantastic. People are enthusiastic. Thanks, Alexandria, IOV, everybody. Yes, well done. Fantastic. Lovely people are there. Very good morning to all of you. It's morning tea. I need a lot. And some of you, I think Archran gave me the advice of having turmeric tea. Believe me, it is good. It is a really good one. So did you remember last time when I was conducting the lesson? A lot. But today is really good. Thank you again. Well, let's get started. It is page number 139 means 149 into the 149. There we go. Thank you, Archran. Yeah, I take with honey. Yeah. So although these are some Indian technique like turmeric tea with honey and all, it works indeed. Well, guys and girls, let's get started. This is a very straightforward, easy chapter, but question comes in from here. Yeah. Okay. 3 topics to be covered: job costing, batch costing, and service costing. People, job costing, job, service, or batch means these are not products. Yeah. It's a particular contract. Job is a particular contract we need to complete. It could be road contract, construction contract, anything. Accounting contract, like I'm an accountant, chartered accountant. I've taken a job, I need to complete it. So that's all about this chapter. So a particular job I need to finish. Then services, accounting is a service though. Yeah, so, but the costing is still material plus labor. Yeah, prime cost, because if it is a construction related, then I need material, I need labor. And if it is accounting related, that's going to be service oriented businesses, doesn't it? Yeah? Like there is no material but labor. Remember that service oriented businesses are heavily dependent on labor, and labor costing would be heavier. Yeah, and batch costing is when we produce so many goods in one batch. Okay, it's kind of revision. So job costing is used by builders, as I said, electricians and plumbers. Like they got a job, they need to complete it, and they give an estimate how much it would cost us. If you need a plumber or electrician, you need that estimate. Like, oh, can you please tell me how much the job should cost us? And the guy will give you, okay, that much. Okay, so there is something called job card. On that card, we record all the costs. So labor cost is the expenses of the overhead. Remember, overhead is indirect costs. There's something called reworking. Please do remember, in any job, like if reworking means do the work again because the work was not good quality. The work was not good quality. The work was not standard, or could be because of illness. For example, today I'm doing a little bit reworking. You know, last time although I covered these 2 chapters, but I felt like I went very quick, and I don't know how did I cover. It was all coughing, and I covered the chapters. That's why I'm covering it again. This is called reworking. Yeah, but reworking costs you. Like I'll get paid for this lesson. I'll get paid for that, the last one as well. Although I didn't give them the very last lessons information. I said, no, let's just leave it. But anyway, reworking cost you money. So if it is a specifically reworking, that is going to be a direct cost, specific. Also, if you remember premium over time, we might need at some point, maybe here, or we have learned as well, if overtime is worked on a specific request, then that is a direct cost. Otherwise, generally overtime is an indirect cost, premium. Okay, guys. So we have done this one. So I don't want to do this one. I want to do the next one, but just let me tell you a little bit. The following information available: job number given, which being produced on the request of a customer. Look at this, 3 types of cost: material cost, labor cost, and these 2 are labor cost, and there is a fixed production overhead. 3rd type of cost is fixed production overhead. Admin overhead is there as well. Sorry, 4 types of costs are there. That's not a problem. How do you do it? It's a job to be covered. And what are the costs? Okay, material, there are 3 departments. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C. Material cost is very straightforward, 4,000, 1,000, 1,500. But the labor cost, we need to do a little bit working. What is the working? Direct labor wages per hour, they said, £6. So 6 times by 3, 1,800, isn't it? 1,800. And likewise, 8 times by 2, 1,600, doesn't it? 5 times by 4, 2,000 should be, shouldn't it? Although I don't do mental maths, I really trust my calculator, and that is my suggestion to all of you. Trust your calculator, yeah? Under exam condition, you might forget things and you might do a mistake. 2,000. That's your material cost done, labor cost done. And fixed production overhead is £5 per labor hour, they said. So we need to check how many labor hours are there. 300 plus 200 plus 400, 500, 900, doesn't it? Yeah, 900 hours times by 5. So how much is there? 900 times by 5, 4,500. 4,500 is your overhead. Then they said fixed production, fixed admin. Guys, please do remember that comes in different questions. One is production overhead, one is non-production overhead. And that admin is your non-production overhead. So for your ease of life, I say in this way, anything outside your factory, anything outside your factory is non-production. Any cost inside the factory, the production house, factory, the where you produce goods, is your production related cost. Anything outside the factory, you know, I gave a 3-story, 4-story building example. The ground floor was our production department. The rest is non-production department. So this fixed admin overhead is non-production, which is 80% of total production cost. So total means material, labor, overhead. You add up, you get the total, doesn't it? Then you add 80%, you get more cost, non-production. Add up together, you get all cost. With that all cost, you do 20% markup. Let's quickly check the answer. We have done it, but just showing it you properly. There you go, the answer. The answer format will be given to you in the exam. Life would be easy. Yeah, you just need to analyze the question and boom, boom, put it in. Okay, there we go, guys. Oops, let me take the pen for this. Yeah, material cost, total material, labor cost. We calculated it. My mental math was good. Total labor cost and fixed production. 900 times by 5. Overhead absorption rate was £5. It is given, and it is based on labor hour. So we got 3 types of 1, 2, 3. The 4th one, we had to find out 80% of the total. When you did this 3, you get the total 16,400. You did 80% of it. I got 13,120. So added up together, production and non-production, I got 29,520. That's the total cost. With the total cost, we've been told profit. And I have a very small quick video, markup and margin. Please watch it. Very helpful. The student gets very confused with markup and margin. There is no markup and margin in your syllabus. Maybe in advanced bookkeeping somewhere. Final accounts preparation in incomplete record, we need a little bit markup and margin. But markup or margin, whatever it is a profit. I repeat, whether markup or margin, the meaning is profit, but markup is a profit we apply on cost, like on the screen. Like the cost is 29,520, and we did 20% markup which is 5,904. So that is a profit markup. But margin is a profit which we apply on sales, yeah, not on cost. Sales, like on the sales, if we do 20%, 25%, whatever it is. So I'm not going in deep detailed markup margin. Whenever it will come to go deep detail, we will go conversion and all. But that's your question here. Okay, let's go to the next one, guys. Second, this one. Get ready with your pen and paper and calculator. This type of question, it comes in the exam, real exam. Yeah, I'm repeating again and again that process costing doesn't come that much. We will still cover the process costing, but this type of questions comes a lot. Yeah. Okay, people, please excuse me. Can you please do this one? Yeah, it is very easy. All the questions, information given, you need to put in it here. Please do it. 5-7 minutes given. Meanwhile, I'll need to attend a phone call. Okay, please do it. I'll help you anyway. Very simple, very easy. You need to put the rework is there. Rework is just normal expense. Just normal expense, whether labor or material, just normal expense. Yeah. So please read through. I will come back in 2 minutes time. I'll help you if you need. Yeah, please do it. Yeah, please, everybody get started. Okay, everybody, how far? How far? At least the first answer, this one, until the materials. There are only three things, doesn't it? Material, labor. Number two is the labor, but in labor we have for A, Luis, and for B, Ben, and that's it. Overhead is already given for each job. Three types of three costs. Yep. Let's read it for the whole class. I know some of you are already working. That's great. Okay. The company has been asked to undertake a particular job for a customer. When you become an accountant, you need to do these things. Can we record, please? Yeah, anybody can record if you have that option. Yeah. The lesson. Okay. Relevant information is as follows: 40 kg bricks needed will be used at 5. So multiply and get the whatever is the figure. Louis will need to work 2 hours and paid 8. So 2 times by 8, 16. Ben will need to work 3 hours and it's paid 8.5. So multiply and get the answer. Look at the overtime related talkie. Overtime is to be done. Asking for permission from the host. I don't know. Recording, asking from the permission from the host. I'm not sure. Archandan. Yeah. I'll try to find it out. Let's carry on the lesson. Overtime is to be done if necessary, as the customer wants the job completed ASAP. Yeah, overtime needs to be done, but overtime is paid at triple time. Yeah. So if he's working, you need to multiply by 3. Is working, multiply by 3. So anyway, that is the overtime. Bear in mind, whenever needed, we will see a few more steps are there. Due to unforeseen complexities, Louise had to stay late on Tuesday. Yeah, staying late, working, that is means overtime. And work 2 hours overtime, very clear, very straight and clear, yeah? So if Louis is getting paid £8, so 4 times by 8 is his basic, yeah? But other 4 hours, why did I say 4 hours? 2 hours normal and 2 hours overtime. But the premium of the overtime is 8 times by 3, we said 24. Of the 24, 8 is basic, doesn't it? 8 is basic, and 16 is premium, right? So these calculations are needed. That's it. 16 is my premium, and 8 is basic. So basic hours, total hours worked 4, but of that 2 hours overtime, those will be paid 16 extra as a premium rate. Yeah, these things should be in your head. There are 2 ways of doing it. We can do all together, like premium and basic together. We can do separate. So I'm showing you both. So premium plus basic is 24. Of that, basic is 8 and premium is 16. Okay, what else? Due to Ben's cold, like me, he had to redo his work on Wednesday morning as he didn't do it properly the first time, reworking, that means we need to check out how many hours Ben worked. Look at this, Ben worked 3 hours, so it's actually double costing. That's it. Yeah. So whatever Ben worked, it's a double, he needs to do the work again. It's a double costing. And Ben had to use 10 kg extra bricks. So this is again extra cost for the reworking, more bricks being needed. So that's it. Ben doesn't normally have to rework. It means it's not a normally, it is a specifically, yeah, specific work. That's why it's going to be a direct work. Sorry, for Ben is 850. Yeah, Ben is 850. That's true. That's all right, Anastasia. I didn't say anything about it. I just said about the Luis's work. Yeah, Ben is reworking. Luis is working extra premium. So That's it, guys. So we just need to get started with the materials. How much materials? We know 40 times by 5. Do it, get the answer. And rework, issued for rework, 10, I think 10 kg, yeah, 10 kg times by, I've already taken a lot of time here. Yeah, thank you. Let me show you from this answer, straightforward. 40 times by 5, 10 times by 5, that is your material, number 1. Number 2, I said labor. No, this is the number 2, labor. So how many hours Luis is working? We said basic hours, Luis working 2 plus 2. Yeah, 2 normal and 2 overtime. So altogether 4 hours basic, and basic payment is £8. But overtime payments were 24, wasn't he? Why? Because 8 times by 3, triple, and which gives you 24. But of that 24, 8 is basic, which has been anyway taken here, and 16 is premium. So that is there. So 2 hours overtime work, and premium of those hours are £16. That is the Luis's work. That's it, guys. Yeah. And Ben, at the beginning, he worked 3 hours, 850, but he had to do the rework again. 3 hours, 850 again. So this is our extra money. Actually, we don't want reworks. Yeah, there are 2 losses because of extra reworking. 3 hours for Ben and those 10 kg of material. That's it, people. When you add up all this cost, it gives you £365. And this 200 is already given into the answer. Question or answer, whatever you said, £200. There you go, £200. So that's your £200. So direct cost plus overhead gives you total job cost. Yep. So it's half an hour, and we are already finishing the chapter, which is really good. Little bit of batch costing. Okay, guys, that was quick and easy, but very few answers came. Yeah, try to do more participation, please. Okay, batch costing is in one batch when you put so many identical items. Yeah, over here the shoes example given. Generally, a very popular example is, what is your favorite biscuit? Oreo biscuit. So in a batch of Oreo biscuit, you can produce 50 packets of Oreo biscuit, or 50 loaves of bread, something like that. So it is in a batch when you produce lots of similar identical items. But if, let's assume in one batch we are producing 300 pair of shoes. So what is the cost of each pair of shoes? Total cost divided by number of units in one batch. Yeah, and that is here. Cost of the batch divided by number of units in the batch. That's your batch costing. And service-oriented costing, I said, accountancy firm like us, law firms, and gym, could be hotels and something like that. These are profit-oriented business. And NFP, not-for-profit making organization, is hospitals, schools, libraries, something like that. Yeah. Okay. In service costing, again, cost per unit is the total cost for that service divided by the number of services we have provided. Yeah, that is, then you get cost per service. Last time we are talking about the composite cost unit. That is also very important in terms of in service-oriented businesses. Cost unit sometimes gets complicated because you need not just one unit helps you to get a real picture. You need 2 units together, which is known as composite cost unit. Yep. So what do you mean by that? A very popular example is the transport one. Like if it is a bus number 25 or whatever is the bus number, EL1 in East London. Okay, so those buses, they run, there is a running cost, but how do we measure the cost? is it only per kilometer? Like, what is the cost per kilometer? Yeah, that is a measurement, but the best measurement is cost per passenger per kilometer. Not just per kilometer. Cost of one passenger 1 mile or 1 kilometer. So that's how we do the composite cost unit. In hotels or hospitals, we call it cost per guest per night, not just per night. What is the cost per night? That can be a cost unit for a hotel, but when you add cost per guest per night, that is even more accurate, because there could be more guests and you might have to offer more cost for those guests. So there we go, some examples given. Please learn it by heart. Road, rail, air transport, TFL type like this. Passenger per kilometer or ton kilometer means if it is a lorry type, it's not just kilometer, it's how many ton it is carrying as well. Hotels, occupied bed per night, per guest is even better. Occupied bed night. They are trying to say per night plus bed. Obviously bed will be occupied, but how many guests are there staying in one room? Yeah, if do they need extra bed or not? Education. Into the education, they're trying to say about the, only they said about full-time students. There could be part-time students. There could be adult students. Yeah. So two things, like not just a student, full-time, part-time. Yeah, distinguishing it. Composite too. Yeah. Hospitals, it's not just day, how many days they are staying. It's per patient per night, or patient per night or per day, whatever you say. It's not just one, composite too. Yeah. This is slightly different, catering or canteen type of things. You don't need to do always the composite. It's a meals served. How many meals served? That is one. But if you want to know, like, meals served to how many guests, it's a similar. That's why I don't do a composite on that one. But anyway, you should remember all these things. Okay. Service department. In service department, we need to remember a few things. Is services can vary. Services are not identical. Like if you take a haircut from the same person, next month the haircut could be slightly different. Yeah. So service, that's one thing. Then services, you can't touch it, like products, iPhone you can touch, services you can't touch, something like that. So that is the kind of end of this chapter. There are some something called heterogeneity, then perishability. These are related to services, which is not given in a book, but that's good to learn. Perishability means services you can't store anywhere. Yeah, you can't take the that one and store in a storeroom. Yep. That is the chapter. There are a few questions. I hope you can do home. Very simple, easy. Now, let me test your knowledge. I shouldn't leave you like that. Please do number one for me. How many minutes you can do? 1, 2, 3. 3 minutes is enough. Please do test your understanding number one. 3 minutes given, everybody, please. Test your understanding number one, everybody. 3 minutes. Who is giving me some answer? Still 20 seconds left. Guys, 3 minutes up. Okay, good. Good. Jinder is saying something. Oh, got the final answer. Well done. But cost per customer, Alexandra says, well done. But little bit breakdown is good, isn't it? Let's quickly go over, then we'll start the next chapter. Material manufacturing units is 12,500 given. Direct labor for fittings 23 hours times by whatever, get the figure, put it here. Direct labor for redecorating 5 times by 6.5, get the figure right down here. Overheads absorbed on the basis of 12.4 per direct labor hour. Now here you need to be a little clever. How many labor hours are there? 23 plus 5 labor hours, 28 labor hours times by 12.4, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. You got costing of material, number 1, costing of labor, number 2, and costing of your overhead, number 3, added up all together, and add 25%. I hope all of you get the right answer, just double checking it, yeah? Hold on, redecorating, yeah, there is redecorating. We have taken into account. Thank you, Alexandria, Anastasia, for those breakdowns. Evelina, well done, Evelina. There we go, guys. Oops. Yep, material, that's our costing number 1. Labor, 2 types of fittings and redecorating. Labor, we just multiply and get the answer. That's it. And overhead again, but to get this 28 hours, you need to know what are the total labor hours, 3rd type of cost. Yeah, fantastic. Total cost, you apply 25% on it. It's a markup. Cost plus means markup. Pile Patel, 7 times by 6.45 is what? What is that? Okay, so that is the answer in front of you. Most of you got the answer right, and that's so good. You can round it up to the nearest figure. Superb. Let's start the next chapter. There are a few little questions at your own convenience. Yep. Okay, process costing, very simple, straightforward. However, there are no tasks on process costing in the sample assessment because it doesn't come. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about it first. What is a process costing? Like a product, one product might go through 2-3 processes. Yeah, like this is the pen, but most of the product, they need to pass through few processes. So in process 1, we need material and labor, and the job done. Then it goes another process, again material, labor, and final job done. Yeah, so this is the process stuff. But while doing costing, in process costing, like last time I gave you an example of IKEA. IKEA, they produce furniture, but they buy raw materials, wood, but they need to shape the wood. So if they bought 50,000 kg of wood, but after cutting and finishing and polishing and all, those 50,000 wood will become 45,000, 5,000 lost in a process, which is normal. That is known as normal loss, which is understood, which we take into account. That's normal. But it might be sometimes if it takes extra, so that is known as abnormal loss. And like if it's, we thought 5,000 kg or 10% would be loss, but it is more than that. So that is known as abnormal loss. But if it is good, better than our expectation, that is known as abnormal gain. We will be going over all these things one by one. Okay, let's assume with no losses, like we are in a process, whatever we input into the production center, that is our output. Like we input 5,000 kilo of material, and we got the output in a shape of 5,000 kilo. That is known as no loss. So again, cost per unit is always, how do you get total cost divided by total number of output units. Okay. Nuneaton Enterprise is a food processing manufacturer which makes a number of different types of product in a number of different processes. The cost of the process, VF1. Okay, so they're talking about, look at this, three things: material, labor, overhead. And last time I told you people, I'm reminding you again, these two are known as conversion cost, labor and overhead. Material, 120,000 kg needed, and the cost of it is 38,000. Labor, 1,200 hours needed, each is £9, and that's the total cost, 10,800. Over absorbed, 11,200. Total cost of the process is 60,000, but the total input is, look at this, input is 120,000 a kg, and total cost is 60,000. So 60 divided by 120, you get 50 pence per kg. That is the scenario, but we need to put these things in a T account, okay? In a T account. And remember, material, labor, and overhead, all these are going to be debit into the process costing because these are expenses, okay? Okay, great. So let's keep moving. As I said, it's a T account. So making a T, left-hand side DR, right-hand side CR, and material, labor, and overhead, these going to be debit into the process costing account. 120,000 kg, two column would be, yeah, kg column and money column. 38,000, copy paste, nothing else. And labor, we don't need to write the hours, and overhead, nothing, it's just blank. Only the kg or liter meter, we write it down. And the cost of labor, overhead given, you get total cost 60,000, and total input is 120,000. On the credit side, we call it output or transfer to process 2, either could be. So we have transferred 120,000 kg and the cost is 60,000, and then we get the total. Okay, everybody? So the fundamental idea of process costing is the cost is on the debit side. If there's no loss on that note. 2-3 new things you're going to learn in a few minutes time. There would be like normal loss, and then the scrap items. Then you can sell it and make some money. Yeah, there could be abnormal loss. There could be abnormal gain. These 3 things we're going to learn more. That's it. Apart from those 3 things, little extra knowledge, which we will go through. But generally, process costing is, it's a process. In that process, we need material, labor, overhead could be. Sometimes, no, very often overhead and labor is known as conversion cost, but that's just a name, nothing to do with that. In a process costing, the costs are on the debit side, just like this, material, labor, and overhead. And then you transfer it to final output, or in second process, that goes on the credit side, okay? I remember last lesson I told you to do this one. Very simple. Please do it again. How many minutes you need? 2 minutes would be enough, but still I'm giving you 3 minutes. Please do activity 1, everybody. 2 minutes, take 2 minutes or 3. 2 to 3, I don't mind. You can do in 1 minute, I know, some of you. Okay, IOV, Alexandra, 110. Very good. Yeah, it's just all the cost divided by number of unit. Okay, G. Olivia, thank you. Pyle, thank you. Good job. Good job so far. Yeah, let's make it simple and quick. Yeah, let's. I know you people can do it very well done. You already have done it. Like your total cost, which is basically 110. How did you get it? Material cost. IOV done it very well with full breakdown plus 50,000 and labor cost and overhead. Thank you, IOV, for taking your time. Thank you, everybody, because you people are working as well. That's your total cost, which is 110 divided by 1,000 units. It could have been a kg. Let's see whether it is a kg or what. Units, they said. Units. It could have been a kg, 100 kg, 1,000 kg, 1,000 liter could be. Not a problem. The matter is our total cost divided by total units. You get cost per unit, 110. And you know what to do. Material, labor, overhead, and just material 1,000 kg and put the money figure and get the total money, get the total money. On the other side, you just transfer it, total 110,000 and 1,000 units, 110,000, I believe so. And yeah, 110,000. That's it, like this. Okay, people? Simple. That is basically process costing. But as we said, we need to deal with a couple of more new items. Yep. Like in a process, in a process, we can have some normal loss. Like, as I said, last time I gave another example, I remember Watson Milk, Medina Dairy Farm, they are known as, and in Windsor. Yeah, so not far from London, it's very nearby in London. So they sell milk, their milk industry. So if they put in a lorry 10,000 liters of milk, they know that 1% might get evaporated, could be, or dropped in. 10% could be something like that, or 1%, sorry, 1% I said, yes. So out of that 5,000 liter, we might lost 50 liter because one drop falling down, then putting it, taking out, and little bit remains into the, into the vehicle or in the machine. So that is very normal. That's all right. That is your normal loss, guys. Yep. So you can read all these things. I just said all these things, but let's go to the illustration. Another of Nunatan's, Nunatan's process number is given. There is a normal loss expected, means we expect 10% loss. Whatever is the input, if I put 5,000 kg, 10%, 500 I will lose. 10% of materials input into this process, the costs incurred in this process and the output achieved, every detail given. Let's read it. Material input 50,000 kg, and we expect 10% should be taken off. That is normal, and the figure given, a value is this, 22,500. Labor costing 16,500. Overhead 6,000, and output was exactly 45,000. Like 5,000 gone. That is expected and normal loss. We are okay with that. But what if the output is 42,000 kg? It's not 45,000 kg. 3,000 kg less, doesn't it? That is unexpected. That is abnormal loss. But what if the output is 46,000? The output, our expected output was 45, but output is higher. We are happy, which is known as abnormal gain. Okay, guys and girls, these 4 steps are very important and very easy. Step number 1, calculate the number of normal loss, which is 10% of 50,000 kg, 5,000. Number 1, step number 1, very important, very much needed. This chapter, next chapter as well. Okay, all right. And then second step is calculate how much is the expected output. 50,000 minus 5,000. That is my expected 45,000. Fantastic. Number 3, step number 3, get the total cost, total process cost. These are my total process cost: material, labor, and overhead. So material plus labor plus overhead. I get the total cost. Now, Final step, number 4, is calculate the cost per unit of the expected output. So you do it on your expected total cost divided by expected output, not the input, not the 50,000, yeah, but this one, step number 2, because 45,000 would be my output and the total cost is whatever it is, 45,000 this time coincidentally. So that's how I get my cost per unit. Total cost divided by expected output. I repeat, total cost divided by expected output. Okay. So that is the case in terms of normal loss. And our rest is same. T account, all the cost would be on the debit side. Output would be on the credit side. But normal loss would be on the credit side as well. Yeah, normal loss would be on the credit side as well. Let's see, how do you do it? There you go. I'm doing this one. Next one you got to do. So pay attention. Most of you are doing really well. I'm happy with that. Debit left hand side, credit right hand side. So you know what to do the process, material, labor, and overhead on the debit side. Material input was 50,000. That's why you need to write 50,000. And that's the cost and cost. You get the total. You got the total cost. But our output, we can start here with this one. If all these things are 1, I would rather say this is 2 and this is 3. Means the process, T account. We normally do like this way. Or you can do either way. You can do this is 2. Normal loss, and this is 3, either way, because we already know what is the normal loss. Normal is 5,000 kg, and the amount figure would be dash 0 for this case. But next little 5 minutes later I will show you, because sometimes no scrap items, you know those 5,000 items here on the screen I just circled, it's the normal loss, but sometimes your normal loss items you can sell it. That is known as a scrap sell value. Okay, guys, keeping it simple, our output is 45,000 kg and the cost of Olufe is 45,000, because that's what we found it out. Yeah, yeah. Total cost, or we can do even cost per unit. We got £1. Yeah, so 45,000 kg times by £1 equals to 45,000 pound. That is our cost, or we just add all the costs together, which is, look at this one, 45,000. But the one I did here is better. Please follow this. Like, what is the cost per unit? £1. That's all right. How many units are output? 45,000 units are output. Okay, £1 times by 45,000. That's your 45,000. So guys, that's how you get the answer. That both sides should equal. There is no balance CDBD. The total of kg 50,000. The total of cost is 45,000. Yep. Okay. All right, there you go. Okay, the second one, another one with the normal loss but scrap value. You know, I was talking about those 5,000 in our example. We can, if we can sell it at anything, which is good. Okay. On that case, if there is any scrap value given, you need to know a little new formula of cost per unit. Normally, cost per unit is total cost divided by total units. But when there is a scrap value, yeah, of your normal loss, the formula is total cost minus scrap value. Why? Because scrap value is an income for you, and that makes your cost down because you're selling it. Although it is a scrap, but you're selling it and getting some money. Okay, so remember the formula in front of you. And just put a box. Total cost minus scrap value divided by units input minus normal loss. Basically expected output. We call it expected output. Yeah, units input, like 50,000 was input minus 5,000, which is 45,000 expected. Yep. Okay, guys and girls, everybody. An activity given, I'll do it with you, don't worry. Input and costs are the same as activity 1. I need to go to activity 1. We'll go in a minute. Losses are normally account for 10% of input. I think the input was 1000 unit, wasn't it? Yeah. Let me check. Activity 1. Where is that? Yeah, 1000 unit, and total cost was 40, 50, 90, 110,000. Yeah. Just remembering these things because it is related to activity number 2. Where is that? Here we go. Okay. 1000 units, 10% losses normally. Output. Oh, there is no. It's just a normal loss. Yeah, it is just a normal loss. Yeah. But scrap value could be given there. Look at this. Calculate the cost per unit of output. Whenever they say calculate the cost per unit of output, the formula is cost minus scrap value divided by input, whatever you input items, like 1000 was input, minus normal loss. If it is so, cost was 110,000, wasn't it, people? And scrap value, we need to read little more. This the account assuming all scrap units have scrap value of 20. Scrap value means output was 900, input was 1000. That means 100 is normal loss. Normal loss. So 100 items are normal loss. But those 100 items, we can sell it at 20. Some people are already working 20, but I'll see IOV, what is this 1200 for? Maybe that's final answer, but we are working on it. Okay, 20 times by 100, it gives you 2000, doesn't it? That is your normal loss value. Normal loss is scrap value. That is needed here, 2000 scrap value, and cost was 110,000, wasn't it? Yeah, we got the. Then you just work it out. 108,000 divided by 900, doesn't it? Not 9,000, 900. 108 divided by 900. Ooh, 120. Is it 1200 IOV? Huh? I got 120. Oh yeah, okay, thank you. It is 120. Okay, 120. 120 is the value. Cost per unit. I just followed the formula, nothing else. You need to remember the formula, nothing else. On the box. On the box you can see, or whatever I have written. Total cost minus scrap value divided by input minus normal loss. That's it, people. Yeah. Everything will be given in front of you. Just take it and apply and grab your marks. Okay. So how do you show into the processes? There are 2 T accounts you can see now. Just before I start anything, remember, scrap, when you sell anything at a scrap, means in this case, we sold 100 items scrap, and each 20 pound, we received 2000. So what is the double entry? Means we're getting money, cash, debit. I should have asked you, what is the double? Let me give the answer. Cash, debit, we got cash or bank, debit. But scrap account credit, yeah? So there are 2 T accounts. Let me start with the scrap account first. Like, you know, 100 items is scrap on the debit side. Oops. On the debit side, 2000. Yeah. That is your normal loss value of normal scrap. But you received a cash worth of 2,000 pounds from these 100 items. Yeah. So scrap credit, that's what we start from. Scrap credit, cash or bank debit. Then in the scrap account, again, normal loss, in the name of normal loss, scrap debit. And in the process account, this is actually, look at I'm writing something. This is actually process. Process going to be credit. Look at this, process credit. That is the double entry for here. And this cash double entry, let me write it down for you. This is, if it is a cash account, cash debit, 2000. Did you see the double entry, people? Yeah, cash account debit is scrap credit, which is this. But in the scrap account, we also do scrap account debit, but process costing credit, which I did the arrow. Yeah, 100 unit. 2,000 pound. Okay, one more thing left here is how much we transfer to the process costing. We transfer 900 items, yeah? We transfer 900, and 900 each is out of 120, doesn't it? We just done from here. So get the calculator. 900 times by 120, 108,000. 108,000. 108 at 2 makes it 110,000. 110,000, and 100 and 900 makes it 1,000 units. That's it. Both side balances, I hope so. 1,000 and 90, 10, 110. Yeah. You should have done it. Why did I do it? Okay, not a problem. Not a problem with that. That's your normal loss, people. Please do remember. Just one new thing is total cost minus scrap value. If your normal loss has a scrap value, divided by expected output. That's your cost per unit. Then you apply like this way. Okay. If you people are happy with that, I think we are moving to the last part of this chapter. Abnormal losses and gains. Yeah, I already give you hints like normal loss. In our earlier example was 10%, 100 units is normal loss. My expected output is 900. But if your output is 850, is it abnormal gain or abnormal loss? Write it back to me. Let's see, are you sleeping or awake? I said in our earlier example, our input was 1,000 units and normal loss was 10%. Expected output was 900, but in reality, our actual output was 850. Expected output was 900. Actual output is 850. Tell me, abnormal loss. Thank you, all of you. Fantastic. Abnormal loss. Anything more than 900, abnormal gain. Obviously, loss is not a good thing. Gain, we are happy. Let's keep doing it with the abnormal loss. I think one abnormal loss, one abnormal gain. That's it. Again, our 4 steps we got to remember. The normal loss, another process P7 is 5%. That's all right. Let's read it. Material 20,000. So it straight do 5% of it, doesn't it? 1,000 kg is our expected. That's step 1. And the cost is given. Labor cost given, overhead cost given. Output, look at the output. Our step 1 and 2 we can do very quickly. Our normal loss is 1,000 kg and expected output, very important, huh? 19,000, that is expected, and the cost also we got it. But expected is 19,000, but actual is less by how much? 600 kg, doesn't it? I'm doing mental maths. That's all right. 600 kg is abnormal loss. Just keep it in your head. Apart from that, rest is absolutely normal. Like I got my total cost divided by expected output. That's my cost per unit. Yeah, guys, that's your cost per unit. That's what you need to remember. But while doing T accounts, I want to jump into the T account. Yep. Keep it as it is. Material, labor, and overhead on the debit side, 20,000 kg was input, and that's the cost. Yeah, we'll get the total. On the right-hand side, credit side, normal loss, 1,000. And there is no scrap value of it. That's why I'm not writing anything in this money figure. It's 0. It's 0. No scrap value of normal loss, no money figure, is 0. If there is a scrap value, there would be money figure, how much we sold it for. Remember that. Now, abnormal loss, we already calculated 600 pound. But how do you get this 720 figure? Let's see who is the clever here. I said abnormal loss is 600. We already know it. And output is 18,400. My question is, how do you get 720 and how do you get 22,080? I can do it in one click. I'm going to do anyway. Superb, Payal Patel. Thank you. 600, Payal says 600 is abnormal loss, but the cost of each item is 120. How did you know it? From here. There you go. 120. 600 is the loss. No matter, it is a loss, but it is a cost. Yeah, we have to occur the cost. 600 times by 120. And also, okay, my second question, how do you get this 22,080? More people take place. Answer it, please. How do you get the value of 18,400 kg, which is 22,080? Come on, it's the same answer, isn't it, people? Yeah. 18,400. 18,400, and the cost of each kg is 1.2. 22,000. Hold on. Yeah, 22,080. Yeah, 22,080. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. Thank you, IOV. Yadu. Thank you. That's it. So that's how simple it is. But you need to remember these things. Normal loss, you need to open a loss account, and loss is debit account. DR, debit, CR, credit. So it is a loss, 600. And in the detail, you write process, because abnormal loss, debit, but process account credit. That is the double entry, everybody. Okay, abnormal loss account, debit, process account credit. Okay, great. So before break, we still have 15-16 minutes, and we're nearly finishing. I'll try to come back in this activity letter. Let me go through the abnormal gain. Is it abnormal gain? Illustration. No, this is the abnormal gain. Let's talk about abnormal gain. You already know the concept. 10% is normal loss. Direct material, 10,000 kg. That is the cost, labor cost given, overhead given. Before we see the output, let's go through the steps. So 10,000, 10% is 1,000 kg. Step number 1. So expected output is 9,000 kg, but our actual output is higher by 350 kg. Abnormal gain. Superb, fantastic, we're happy. If abnormal loss is on the credit side of the process costing, abnormal gain would be on the debit side of the process costing. Yeah, because gain account credit, process debit. That's the double entry. Okay, rest remains normal. Step number 3, all the costs added up together, you get the cost, but divided by what? Again, expected output. Yeah, not the actual output, people. It's never expected output. You get 3 per kg, which is very important to remember. Okay, and let's keep going through. Material 10,000 kg, that's the cost, labor cost, overhead cost. These 3 as it is normal. We had a normal loss and there is no scrap value, that is 0. Output, I'm gonna ask you the same question and I hope you know the answer. Output is 9,350, but how do you get this 28,050? And abnormal gain, I told you it is on the debit of the process and on the credit of the abnormal gain. There you go, here it is, look at this. And that's the double entry. Yeah, abnormal gain, 350. My only 2 question, how did you get 1,050, the value of abnormal gain? First question, let's see, how do you answer? Who has answered me, anybody? Anastasia has answered already. 9350 times by 3. Evelina also answered, and all of your answers are correct. Sorry for previous one. Which one? Why not? Anastasia is correct. Don't worry. 9350 was my question as well, but from that question I came back to 350. Don't worry. But all of you are right. So the abnormal gain 350, but the value is 1,050. How? Because that's the cost per unit. £3. There you go. The £3. And also my second question, Anastasia gave me answer as well. How did you get the value of this 9350? 28,050 is multiplied by 3. That's it. Okay, so that's that. I think I should give you this activity number 4. Guys and girls, please do it. That's the end of the chapter. I might go back to activity number 3 as well. Yep. So please do activity number 4 first. Everybody, take your time. 3 minutes. Okay, guys, it's 3 minutes, but I'm giving you one extra more minute. Let's see. Yeah. Only the process costing process. Yeah. No more other accounts, no scrap account, nothing. What is the cost per unit? You should have got it, shouldn't he? $0.34, Anastasia says. Let's see for more people. Let's wait for more people. Four steps, yeah? Remember those 4 steps. You must follow those. Very easy, straightforward, quick. 4 steps. 120. Yadu says 120 cost per unit. Does it? Maybe, I'm not sure. Okay. Evelina, 120. Okay, great. Cost per unit is 120. Continuing the same example, activity 2 means it's the same costing and all, although the costings are in front of us given. Process, but output was 920. So we can feel 20 items are abnormal gain. We did a very fantastic job, long way. Thank you, IOV, but let me go through this answer. Okay, number 1, our cost was 110, and we can sell those scrap at 2000, and input was 1000, 100 was a normal loss, which so expected was 900. So 120 was right. We have already done it. And IOV did really good long work, which is raw material, labor, and overhead 1000 kg, and copy, and paste. Yep, get the figure total. But no, normal loss 100 unit, but this time scrap value given. That's why the value is written. Process 2, we transferred. Oh, hold on. This is this is the activity 2 I'm looking at, but the same thing gonna be activity 4. Don't worry. Hold on. It's the same thing. Look at this. This is the activity 4. You should have corrected me, guys. Activity 4, yeah, but it's the same because it is copied from activity 2. So 110 minus 2000 and 9000 minus 100, which is 900, 120. That was our so far things. So we can instead jump into a process costing, but little working they showed, which working I kept asking you every time. How do you get this one? Multiply by 3. How do you get this one? Multiply by 120. Something like that. Cost of output 920 times by 120. That's how you get the figure. And abnormal gain 20 units times by again 120. This is the question I kept asking you, but they did the workings. You better do these workings as well. Yep. How do you show into the T account? Like this. Raw material, labor, and overhead, copy pasted. Normal loss, I'm going to the normal loss first. 100 units, and that is the value. Then in process 2, we transferred 920, and that is the value because H is 120. And abnormal gain, it goes on the debit side of the process. That's why 20 times by 120, you get this figure. Okay, and if you add up, both sides should add up. If you meant to do an abnormal gain account, which side it goes on? The credit side, doesn't it, people? Abnormal gain. Because process costing debit, abnormal gain account, credit. 20 items at 2400. That's it. I hope that would be good. That is superb. People have worked really great. Very well done. Very well done, IOV, Evelina, Yadu, everybody. Okay, I'm going back to activity 3. There is abnormal loss I can feel. Please do it. 5 minutes given. Because I can see you take 5 minutes on that. 5 minutes given. Activity 3, everybody. With full detail, like IOV. Activity 3, everybody, please. Forgot the answer. Okay, IOV again. Well done. Okay. It's 5 minutes past. Evelina, thank you very much, Evelina. All right. Okay. So it is again activity 2, but this time it is 880. Remember, so 20 is loss, abnormal loss. 20 is loss. So if it is abnormal loss, it should be on the debit side of the process account. The rest is normal 4 steps work. Yeah. Very well done, people. You have worked hard. I'm just showing you the answer. Activity number 3, there we go, is same normal, 110,000 minus 2,000 divided by 900, you get 120. But this time cost of output 880 times by 120, that's the cost of output. Well done, people, good job. And cost of abnormal loss is again 20 times by 120. Yeah, but how do you present in a process costing? Raw material, labor, overhead, it's just a copy paste from the question and get the total. Normal loss 100 units, we have the scrap value, we've written it. Process, we all worked it out. That's transferred to process 2, basically. From process 1, it is the output. And abnormal loss 20. Add up, get the total. That is the end of the chapter. That is our break time as well. I'm still taking 1 more minute from you people. You have little question, please do it home. 2-3 questions only. Next chapter is about work in progress, partly done goods. We'll go over, although hardly any question comes from here, but we'll go just like this, thoroughly covering everything. Okay, people, so it is a break time. Yeah, oops, my B was broken. See you at what time? 12:03, is it? What's the time? Yeah. Okay, guys and girls, then see you at that time. Yeah. Or if you have any question. Okay, Evelina says see you soon. I hope all of you need a break, and we'll start our last chapter. Yeah. Thank you. See you soon. Hi, everybody. You're back on time. Are you people there? Okay. Only Anastasia is there. Who else is there? Hi, Ovi. Hello. Yes, there. Where are other people? Payal is there with a big capital letter yes. Thank you, Gujinder, for the confirmation. Okay. Alexandra, thank you, Anthony. Welcome, Anthony. Where have you been? The first session. Okay, everybody. We should start our session. Yeah, Anthony, you missed it. No problem. As long as you are here, it's good. But please try to find out the videos. The first hour was good. Hello, Evelina. This chapter yet again, hardly question comes from this chapter, but we'll go over thoroughly this chapter, just like the other chapter. Look at this, however, there are no tasks on the process costing the sample assessment. But you never know. After every 3-4 assessments, one question might come out of 5 marks, 10 marks, 14 marks could be. So it's better to go all of it. Yeah, we don't skip anything. Excuse me. Okay, let's talk about something called work in progress. What do you mean by work in progress? The accounting is very practical thing. The name gives you the answer. It says work in progress. The work is still in progress. It's not a complete work. It's a half done work. It's a partly done work, quarterly done work, something like that. Yeah. So we need to do accounting, a process costing accounting for work in progress. Now, work in progress mostly happens with opening and closing. Opening work in progress and closing work in progress. We'll talk about all of it. Yeah, let's keep going through. There are 2 things they're talking about. One is fully completed goods, which we know that, yeah, it is fully done. The iPhone is fully completed, for example. But some of these are incomplete, means partly complete. There you go. They said even at the bottom. That is known as work is still in progress. It's still some labor work needs to be done there, could be, or could be some materials needed there. Then it becomes a fully complete good. So those work in progress we need to find out in equivalent unit. What do you mean by equivalent unit? Is like this pen. Where is the cap of this pen? I'm looking for the cap. I can't find. Anyway, this pen, let's assume we have produced 5,000 of the pen fully completed, but 200 of the pen is half completed, half completed. 200 pen, I said. 5,000 is fully completed, done, but 200 is half completed, rest work is still in progress. Now, what is the equivalence of those 200 pen in terms of fully completion? The equivalence is 100 items. If you want to know, because 200 of the pen is 50% complete. But if you want to know the equivalence of those half-done goods in terms of full completion, in terms of complete goods, then it is 100 items. That is known as equivalent items, equivalent units. As a good example given, for example, 2 shirts, each 50% complete, have had the same outcome of fabric and labor input as 1 finished shirt, doesn't it? Yeah. Like two shirt, 50% complete means 1 shirt. That is the equivalent unit. Now, equivalent unit is a very important topic for this particular chapter, and you need to know those calculations. So we'll go over. Let's keep going over. There's a straight illustration, quick illustration. Bank reconciliation. They're talking about New Newton Enterprise has a process called SL 4. During the month of May, the cost of the process was 21,000 and output was 10,000 completed units, guys. Yeah, 10,000 fully done units and 1,000 units that were half completed. My question is, 1,000 unit is half completed. If you want to know the equivalent unit of those 1,000 items, what is that? Tell me, write down. 1,000 units are half completed. I want to know the equivalence of those 1,000 items in full equivalence, means complete equivalence. What is the equivalent unit of those 1,000 items? How many is the equivalent item? Okay, look, the answer is given here, very simple. 500. Thank you, Evelina. Very well done. 500 is the answer. Yeah. If 2 50% shirts makes equivalence 1 shirt, that means 1,000 50% done goods or units should make it 500, shouldn't it? So completed units are 10,000, work in progress 1,000 items, but half of it is done. That means 500 is equivalent to full. Equivalent to full. So ultimately, your equivalent items units are 10,500. So, you know, the cost of it was 21,000, and equivalent unit, EU, not the European Union, okay? EU, equivalent unit is 10,500, yeah? So cost per equivalent unit is £2. That's it. But little more calculation you need to remember, which is, what is the cost of completed goods? 10,000 unit is the completed goods times by £2. 20,000 is the price of completed goods. What is the cost of work in progress? And this is a closing work in progress, because at the end, these works were left, 50% work was still left, and we want to know the calculation of cost of it. And we know cost per unit is £2 times by 500, 1,000 is the cost of it, closing work in progress. Now, in a process costing, just like the last chapter we have learned before break, left-hand side DR, right-hand side CR. Input cost, in this input, material, labor, and overhead all comes in it together, 21,000. And we divided these costs in terms of completed production and work in progress, which is this time is a closing work in progress. Later on, we'll see opening work in progress as well. 20,000, 1,000, that's it. Okay, so there are only 3-4 things you need to know in this chapter. The first thing is equivalent unit. That is your equivalent unit. We're going to do more of the equivalent units, and later on we're going to do opening work in progress as well. Okay, different stages of completion. I already said these things, like labor could be incomplete, material could be incomplete, overhead could be incomplete, it could be 20%, 50%, 80%. It all depends. Yeah. And they are talking about all these things here. Read at your own time. We want to go to the illustration. Okay. Different stages of completion. Illustration number 2. Yeah. Another enterprise of that business is the process is case 2. The costs incurred in this process for the month of May are as follows. Material cost given, labor and overhead cost given. Okay. The answer is given anyway. I was about to ask you, what is the other name of labor and overhead? The other name of labor and overhead is conversion cost, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay, that's great. So far, so good. At the end of the period, there were 8,000 units completed. That's one thing, people, doesn't it? And 1,000 units of closing work in progress. If it is a closing or opening work in progress, whatever it is, it will be partly completed. Yeah, and we need to find out the equivalence of it. Straightforward. Look at this. Of that 1,000 units, the work in progress had 80% of its material input. Yeah, 80% of the material and 50% of the conversion. Let me take another color pen. Blue. 80% material and 50% labor. Now, you know the closing work in progress, which is 1,000 items, we need to find those equivalent. Yeah, look at this box, which is very nice and fantastic box. We must now calculate the cost per equivalent unit. Cost per equivalent unit. Let's at first calculate the equivalent unit first, then we can get the cost per equivalent, because the costs are given. Where are the costs given? There's the arrow. Material cost given, labor cost given. Now we need to find the equivalent units. Divided by with the cost, you get the cost by equivalent unit. All right, let's see how do you do. Material wise, remember 80% and conversion, labor and conversion wise 50% equivalent. Now this is 2 column here, column 1, column 2, and 3 column, you can say. Yeah. The units completed 8,000 units, 8,000 completed. Now material is also 100% complete. Labor is also 100% complete. You know, the 8,000 is fully complete. We have nothing to worry about, that 8,000 units, which is fully, this is your 8,000 units, fully complete. Material, 100% complete. Labor and overhead, 100% complete. But the work in progress, I did an arrow, 1,000 units. Of that unit, you know, the material, it was 80% complete. That means 800 is the equivalent unit. Yep, equivalent of full completion. Equivalent of full completion, but we normally call it equivalent unit. So out of your 1,000 units of work in progress, of that, let's assume this pen 1,000 units left, but of that 1,000 units, material 80% complete. Yeah, material, that's the 800. And labor 50% complete, other 50% needed. 50% means 500. So 2 things you need to focus here. How much is the material completion? How much is the labor and overhead? It could have been separately labor and overhead. This time it's together, labor and overhead conversion. So 2 things I said. So your material is, equivalent unit of material is 8,800. Oh, there you go. It's given here in the box. I'm doing the box. 8,800. 8,800, because 8,000 is fully completed, plus 800 was partly 80% completed out of the 1,000. So 8,800 is your material equivalent unit. And labor-wise, the equivalent unit is 8,500. I just did an arrow. Yep, that's your equivalent unit. Now the costs are given. You need to divide with the cost. That's it. Cost of material is 23,760 divided by 8,800 equals to 270 per equivalent unit. Material cost per equivalent unit is 270. Yeah. And labor and overhead total cost is 10,200. If you ask me, how do you get it from Mr. Ilias? I got it from here in the question. That's the question. Sorry, here. And that's the question. Yeah, that's where I'm getting it from, the costs given in the question. Okay, let me erase these things. All right. So 8,500, 10,200 is the labor and overhead divided by total equivalent units, which we found here already, which is very important to find it. You get cost per equivalent unit of labor and material. That's how you get the cost per. At first, you need to get the equivalent unit, material and labor wise, and even full completion wise. mostly material and labor wise, or the maximum is overhead. Then you get cost per unit of equivalent unit, cost per unit, yeah, which you got at 270 and 120. Now let's do little more calculation, two actually they give you, but there are 3 calculations. One we have done at the top already. Okay, here we are doing completed output and work in progress, 2 category. Yeah, completed output, what is the cost of it, and what is the cost of closing work in progress. It could have been opening work in progress as well. So material 8,000, and cost per each equivalent material unit is 270. That is the cost of material. Labor and overhead is 8,000 fully completed, and cost per unit is 120. That is the cost of full completion. But there are some work in progress. Material 800. Each cost is 270 again. That's the material cost. So when you add these 2 material costs, you get the total cost of the material. Yeah. And labor and conversion for work in progress, 500 items was the equivalent item for work in progress, times at 120, 600 is the cost. Now, when you add your labor and overhead, both completed and work in progress, you get the total cost, and the total cost is here. Although you can take it from the question, but that is your total cost. Process costing debit, left hand side credit, right hand side material, labor and overhead. As I said, if you add this to 21,600 plus 2,160, you get 23,760, which is this. And 10,000 to 10, how do you get? 9,600 plus 600, 10,200. That's it, guys. You can get the total. And because you already calculated separately, this is the completed and this is the work in progress. So you need to show it separately. Completed output 31,200 and working progress. It's just the presentation, doing the same work, but little different calculation, plus minus, same thing, but presentation is slightly different than the last chapter. Yep. In this here, what are we showing? What is the cost on the credit side? Cost of completed output and closing work in progress. That's it. Yep. Okay. So just 1 minute quick repeat for everybody, because I'm going to give you a question. Find of this type of question, when the closing inventory is partly completed, 50%, 80%, 20%, whatever it is, you need to find material and labor equivalent unit. That is in front of you on the screen, equivalent unit. Our material, completed goods are there, 8,000 for material and labor, which is copy paste, no problem. But work in progress, closing work in progress, equivalent unit, I had to find it out. Very straightforward, just 80% given, you do the 80%, which is 800. And the equivalent unit is 8,800 for material. And labor 50% completed, that's why work in progress was 1,000 units, 50% completed, that means 500 is the equivalent unit. You add up with the completed units, 8,500 is the equivalent. That's the one thing. Second thing, you get cost per unit of equivalent unit. You divide it, and then you do those 2 things, completed units separately and work in progress separately. That's it. Then you transfer in the work process costing accounting. Okay. If this is the case, activity 1 is little big, but still you people can do it. Let me help you a little bit. It's a long one. Activity 1 is a big one. The following I introduced the process 1, raw material 1,500 units, value given, labor value given, overhead value given. Closing work in progress are 50 units. And remember, closing work in progress would be like partly done, fully quarterly done, something like that. For this closing work in progress, raw material is fully complete. Superb. It's 100% complete, but the labor is 60% complete. Yeah, and overhead is 30% complete. And you need to know the equivalent unit. There are no losses in the process. Finished outputs are 1,450. What is the time? Let's look at the time, because half an hour left. I should go a little quickly with this one. Yeah, you know what to do. The first thing you people need to do is find the equivalent unit. Yeah, do something picture like this, or any picture, any working you can do. Find the equivalent unit of these 50 items. 50 items. Material is fully completed. 50 is 50. But labor should be 50 times by 60%, doesn't it? And this is 50 times by 30%. That's how you get the equivalent unit. And you need to add the full completed finished units with that. Let's quickly do from here, because I can see little timing is there. In this case, 4 requirements being asked. Let me show you. Number 1 requirement, obviously you need to find the equivalent unit, which is asked in B. Yeah, but that comes first. Equivalent statement of equivalent unit. We need to find out the equivalent unit. Then we need to do the process costing, number 2. And number 3, cost per equivalent unit. Actually, at first we do equivalent unit, just like the example, you know. Then we do the cost per equivalent unit. Then you do the process costing. But this time process costing being asked first. So what you need to do, all these 4, and the 4th one is value of finished goods. Value of finished goods or closing work in progress, which we did in the example. Yeah, all these 4 you need to do together. You can't leave it isolate, and that's it. Yeah, let me help you. It's a long one, easy but long one. I want to start with statement of equivalent unit. That's the answer here. Pro forma is given. You need to put the figures. What is the figure? Finished output is 1450 total. Material, labor, and overhead all should be 1450, because this is 100% complete finished output. Where we are getting it from? There we go. 1450 is the finished output. But our question is with the 50 units of work in progress. Let me show you. You know, the 50 units of work in progress, the total is 50 units of work in progress. Material was 100% complete. That's why it's 50. I think labor was 60% complete. I think so. And let me check. This is 60 and 30. Yes. Labor is, and overhead is 30% complete. Yeah. That's how you do your equivalent units. Like material wise, it is fully done. That's why 50 goes straight to the 50 closing inventory. But labor wise, it is 60% complete. So if you do 50 times by 60%, you're gonna get 30, which is this 30 arrow. And 50 times by 30%, you should get 15, which is this 15. Okay, people? So at first, you need to get equivalent unit. Although it is into the B, but I need to do the B first. Okay, I'm erasing it. And then coming back. All right. That is my equivalent unit. So 3 things is my concern here now: material, labor, overhead. My material is full equivalent unit is 1500. My labor equivalent unit is 1480. My overhead equivalent unit is 1465. Yep. Second one, I want to do this C, cost per equivalent unit, cost. And the costs are given. Material cost given, copy paste, and they just bring it. Labor cost, bring it. Overhead cost, bring it. Where do you bring it from? From the question. That's it. Material cost, labor cost, overhead cost. The 3 arrow we did. Just copy and paste into the cost. But then you need to divide with the material cost. 1500 is the equivalent unit. You get cost per unit of material, equivalent unit. And labor was 1480. And the total cost divided by equivalent unit, you get cost per equivalent unit. So that's the overhead. That's how you get cost per unit. Material, labor, and overhead. When you add all of it, the cost per equivalent unit is 17.27. See, I didn't touch even A. Yeah, I'm doing B first, then C first. Even I can do I must do, not I can do, I must do D. Then I need to go to A. So these little things you need to remember. Although I'm saying it doesn't come in the exam, or rarely comes, or it comes after 4 assessments. So what if it is your turn? Do you understand me? If it comes in your turn, so you shouldn't struggle. You should know what to do. Okay, guys and girls, let's do the D first, then I'll come back to A. because when all is done, we just need to copy paste into the A, process account. Finished goods were 1400 units. Finished goods were 1450 units. Multiply by the cost by equivalent unit. So that is my total cost of finished goods. We need to do that working and put it aside, which we did. Then we need to do the working for work in progress. Work in progress. You know, material wise, work in progress was 50 units because it's 100% complete. Labor wise was 38 units, equivalent units, and overhead wise was 15 equivalents. And we found each cost of equivalent unit, each, which is we found here. There you go. 3, yeah, 8.65, 6.47, and 2.15. You need to multiply with that. 50 times by material cost of equivalent unit, then 30 times by labor cost of equivalent unit, you get 194. Overhead 15 is the equivalent unit times by cost by equivalent unit, which is 2.5, which it gives you 32. Altogether, your value of closing inventory is 659. That is the value of your closing inventory. Total closing work in progress value. Yeah, closing work in progress. Now I want to go to the A. There we go. A is process costing, which you have been learning from this morning. Debit side, credit side. As it is, material, labor, overhead, all debit, 1500. And you can do the copy pasting thing. That's not a problem here for the left-hand side, like material cost, copy paste, labor cost, copy paste, overhead, copy paste. Copy paste from where? From the question, or from this, the one I circled into the cost by equivalent unit, or from the question. Where's the question here? There we go. That is your, let me do correct pen. These are the costs. Copy and paste into the debit side of your process costing. Yeah, that is it. Credit side of the process costing is the matter now. You know, we found already these two. I'll show you. Where did you find it? 1450. The value of 1450 is 25,042. Let's see who gives me the answer. How did you find this value? Let me take another pen, bright color. How did you get this value, 25,042? Tell me, people. Who done that work? Let's see anybody gives me the answer though. Yeah. And how did you find this figure? Where from? 659 of 50, the closing work in progress. The answer would be from the bottom, from C and D, especially D. Yeah, from the D. Here is the value, 25,042. Yeah, the total output is 1,450 and cost of each output is 1727. That's you multiply and you get that figure, which is transferred to process 2. That's why it is written process II2. And closing work in progress as well, 50 items, and the value of that 50 items we already found here, which is 659. That is written here. You know, one thing here, this £6 is rounding up and down. It was not balancing because of rounding up and down figure, because of the decimal figure. That's why we forcefully written that 6 was the difference rounding, and you get both sides equal. That is your closing work in progress. We still have half an hour-ish, and we need to know the opening work in progress. But before that, I might give you a question. Rounding it up, people, for you people, from this type of question in front of you, at first you need to do the equivalent unit, which is B of the answer. The second one, you need to do cost by equivalent unit, which is C of this question. The third one is the total cost of goods completed and or closing work in progress. That is D. And then finally, you do a process costing, material, labor, overhead, debit, and work in progress and transfer to process 2 or goods completed is credit. That's it. That's how you do, people. I hope You are going to get a question. No, illustration. Good job. You don't need to do anything. Still, I need to do. Okay. I hope this is the last one. I think so. You have learned closing work in progress. Now you can get opening work in progress. And using FIFO and AVCO is even straightforward. FIFO, I will show you what to do with that. Okay, what we are going to learn now is, the closing work in progress this period becomes opening work in progress next period. Please listen to me, the one word or sentence I'm going to use. Opening work in progress means how much still needs to be completed. I repeat, opening work in progress means how much work still needs to complete the goods. For example, if I say this is 80% complete, that means how much still needs to be complete? 20%. Yes, that is the idea you need to remember in terms of opening work in progress. In terms of closing a work in progress equivalent unit, how do you do? How much completed? 80%. Oh, okay, do the 80% and get the units completed. It's straightforward. But in terms of opening work in progress and equivalent unit, because we're going to do this in a minute, in terms of opening work in progress equivalent unit, we need to bear in mind how much still needs to be completed. 20%, for example. Like they said 80% completed, but we need to take into account how much still needs to be completed. That is the fundamental idea of opening work in progress with FIFO. And AVCO is very straightforward. We're going to do it. Okay, the illustration is in front of you. Raw materials input was 2,500. That's the value, labor and overhead value given. There we go. Opening work in progress is 50 units. Value is also given. It was 100% complete for material, 60% complete for labor, and 30% for overhead. That means material I don't need to touch. Material is fully completed. Labor, how much I need to touch? How much I need to complete? Write me, please. How much of the opening work in progress labor still needs to be completed? How much percentage? Come on, write me, please. Ooh, taking long time. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you. Where are other people's? Yeah. Okay, let me repeat the same things again. Thank you, Anastasia. That's fine. 40 and 70% is correct answer. When doing, so far we have done closing in this chapter. Now we are doing opening. And in terms of opening, we need to think how much still needs to be completed. Yeah. So if 60% completed, 40% still needs to be completed for labor. And overhead, 30% already completed, but 70% still needs to be completed. Okay, bear in mind that idea is needed. Raw material given 2,050. Opening work in progress is 50. Output is 2020. Output. From output, I'm taking my calculator, 2020 minus opening if we take away. So 1970, that might be needed in a minute, but let's keep going through. Yeah. Okay, two types of work in progress. Remember, opening, one. Now I'm going to talk about closing, because closing is given. Closing is 80 units. Work in progress number two, second type, which is the last one. Yeah. 80 units and the value is given. But of that, how much is completed? Material fully completed. Means 80 we need to take into account. Labor 60% completed. 60% will take account, not the 40%. That is for opening inventory, opening work in progress. Overhead 60% complete. So you can do 80 times by 60%, 80 times by 60%, 80 times by 100%, and write those figures here. 80 and I don't know, 48 and 48. Yeah, you can do these little works here, and you should do the little work for that one as well here. 100% complete means 0. I don't need to do here. 60% complete means 40% still needs to be done. So 50. Let me do on the calculator on the screen. That would be good for you people can see instead of my calculator. So I'm doing opening 50 for labor. 40% still needs to be done times by 40%. So let's see, 20 here, and 50 opening times by overhead 70% still needs to be done, times by 0.7, 35. So 35, yeah. 20 for labor, 20 units for labor, and for overhead 35 units. This is the opening work in progress of equivalent unit. Yeah, I know, little complicated it is getting, but this is the last topic. Yeah. And closing working process is very straightforward. You know already, like it's 100% complete, so 80. Labor is 60% complete, so 48. And another 60%, 48. These are equivalent unit, you know, 80, 48, 48, and the other one is 20 and 35. These are equivalent unit. So for all working I have done, let's see what is the requirement. Requirement is prepare the process cost accounting using FIFO. So, you know, for the FIFO, we need that how much percentage still needs to be completed. Yeah, like 40% needs to be, 70% needs to be, and AVCO is going to be very straightforward. Let's talk about the FIFO. Unit calculation. Opening work in progress, which was 50, plus input, which was 2050, 50 plus 2050 equals to goods output, plus closing work in progress, which is 18. Whether you can keep it in your head or not a problem. The important thing you need to keep in your head is equivalent unit. Step number 1. How do you find the equivalent unit? There are 3 equivalent units: material, labor, and overhead. Starting with the opening. Yeah, we're going to do opening, and we're going to do closing as well of the equivalent unit. We already did the workings, but I'm just going through now. Opening work in progress, 50 units was opening work in progress. Material was 100% done, so it's 0. We don't bother about it. In terms of opening, again I repeat, you need to remember how much still needs to be completed while doing FIFO. Yeah, 40% need to be completed for labor, which is 20, which we already calculated. Let me show you the calculation. There is your 20. Yeah, and overhead was 35. That is being shown here. Okay, people, there was a little internet problem, could be. I hope you can hear me better now. Yeah. Okay, so overhead 35, how do you find it? 70% still needs to be done of the 50. Yeah, and 40% still needs to be done of that. That is your equivalent unit of opening work in progress. That was the most hard job for this task. Job done. Now, goods started and finished. How do you get 1970? Let me show you. You know, your goods were 2050. Let me show you. It was 2020. No, 2050. No. 2020 minus 50. Yes, this is 2020. Output was 2020. I need to write it down. Output was goods started and finished. We want to know how much goods we started with. Our output was 2020. That was the output. But with that included was 50 opening, you know, opening inventory or WIP, whatever it is. So we need to minus it. So actually we started with 1970. Let me take the calculator. 2020 minus 50. Yeah, that gives you 1970. So, you know, the second calculation was also, you need to know, like, goods started and finished. How much goods we started with? We started actually with 1970. Plus the 50 came from opening, which gives us actually 2020 output. Yeah. So goods we started with 1970. That is for all the materials. But that's how we got the output. There you go, the output, goods output. 50 was the opening. 50 opening plus how much was input equals to 2020 was the good output. Yeah, that is total, but because we are doing equivalent unit, material, labor and overhead going to be different. In terms of equivalent unit, material is fully completed, so we should not be bothered about it. So our output is 1970. Labor 40% is still needed, so 20 should be added, and overhead 35 should be added. That is your good output. Now we need to take the equivalent unit of closing work in progress. Closing work in progress, which already done it. Total closing work in progress was 80 items. Of that, material was fully done. That's why 80. Why did you do it? There you go. Here we did it. The circle I did. Workings. Material 80 done. Labor and overhead was 60% done, I believe so. 60%, which gives you 48, 40. Then you get the equivalent unit. That's why it is slightly lengthy. Not much complicated. You just remember the formulas and step by step. Then you get the equivalent unit. You know, material equivalent unit, opening if there is any, plus goods we started with, plus anything in the closing. These three things we add and get the answer. So that's with labor and overhead. That is your equivalent unit. So far, loads of things we did only for the equivalent unit. You know, because of the opening, it gets little complicated. It gets little lengthy because with opening we had to find it out. then cost per unit is easy. You just take the cost, which is from the question, copy paste cost and divide it with this. How do you get 11? Let me tell you. Divide by, you can write down 2050. Yeah, 2050. How do you get 8? 16,304 divided by this figure, 2038. 2038. And how do you get 4? You 8212 divided by 2053. Let me take my calculator and double check. 22550 divided by 2050. Yeah, 11. Yeah, you can check the answer. That's how we get it. Yeah, cost by equivalent unit. And it is not done yet because we need to know the value of closing inventory of work in progress and the value of total units. How do you do it? Opening work in progress value straight given into the question, 610, we copy paste it, but rest we got to work it out. Material was 1970, labor was 1990, and overhead was this. Where do you get it from? Here. I'm circling it there. Circle. There you get it from. And you multiply with cost per unit, you get the total cost. That is my total cost, opening plus cost during the year. And what is the cost of closing unit? 80 units. Material is 11. Labor was 48 and overhead also 48, but cost per unit is 8 and 4. You multiply, add up together. That is your closing work in progress cost. This is goods completed, and this is closing work in progress. Is it getting lengthy? Here it is. And that's it. Once you get, you know, things are same. Still, that we did equivalent unit first. Then second, we did cost by equivalent unit, which is into step number 2. Then step number 3, we did what is the total cost of goods completed and cost of work in progress, closing work in progress. Same, but this time opening coming in with the FIFO method. The last one in the process costing account, it's the T account. How do you do it? We start with the opening 50 units and the cost value given 610 is copy paste, not complicated. And rest is raw material overhead, labor and overhead, which is straightforward taken, copy pasted. This is what we have calculated. 2020 unit. Again, where do you get it from? And 46,220. Again, where do you get it from? Here. 46,000. I circled it. 46,000. Yeah. And the total added up figure is 2020. There you go. Let me take another color figure. I mean, that is the 2020. That is the total. And the total cost of this 2020 is 46,220, which has been taken to the process cost. So many things to remember. Please do remember. And closing working progress was 80. 1456, how do you get it? We had to work it out. And that is the working out. Yep. The one I boxed. Yeah. And that's it. When you add up, both sides equals. The money equals, the unit equals. Long and lengthy workings given, people. All the workings I just did, they did here. Okay, final one. How do you do the same thing? AVCO. Look at this AVCO. How easy is AVCO? Goods output was 2020. You know, we did goods output was 2020 minus opening. Opening was 50. Thus we get 1970. In FIFO, you have to do it. In AVCO, we don't need to do all these things. We straight do a statement of equivalent unit. How much is output? 2020, written it. And there's nothing to do with the opening. In AVCO, we take the average. We don't bring the opening one. Closing. And closing, you already worked it out. Material 80, 48, 48. That's your equivalent unit. Job done. That's your equivalent unit. Life is easy. Yep. In terms of equivalent unit, you don't need to bring the opening in AVCO, but in FIFO you need to bring, and you need to bring in such a manner like how much still needs to be completed. Okay, that's how you do. Okay, now you get cost or cost per equivalent unit. So in the cost we need to bring the cost, not the or equivalent unit for the AVCO. So 610 was the cost. This is aligned with this. Let me tell you, this is the material column, this is still the labor column, and this is overhead column. Anyway, so material was 400 for the opening working progress, labor 180 and 30. If you ask me, Mr. Ilias, where do you get it from? You get it from the question of this is, yeah, this is the question. There you go. 400, 180 and 30, 610. That is the opening here. Okay. Wedding AVCO. 400, 180, 30. Material, labor, overhead. And other costs are copy paste as well. Material, labor, overhead. You get the total cost. Yeah. Total cost divided by total units. This is the unit, equivalent units. Once you divide, you get this figure. Like 22,950 divided by 2100 equals to 10.93. That is your material cost per unit of equivalent unit. Labor is 16,484 divided by 2068. That was the equivalent unit in terms of AVCO. So 7.97. And likewise, then you get the, when you add all these three, you get cost per equivalent unit under AVCO. And that's it. Because we have a activity, very less time. Obviously, it is not possible. It takes 25 minutes-ish to do it. I hope that one you can do home. Yeah, the activity, look at this, what is given. That is the input, none of our concern for the timing. The money is concerned, opening, remember, opening. 100% complete means you take 0. 40%, 60% complete means you still need to take 40%. You still need to take 70%. Almost similar like the other one. Output is 2,100. Of that, if you take away 50 opening, then 2050 is the units you started with. Yeah, that is the activity 2. Then rest is equivalent unit. Look at this here, they started with the equivalent unit first. So yeah, get started, equivalent unit. And goods started and finished is 2050. And I just did it for you, 2050. Yeah, how do you do it? You do output minus opening. And then you get the equivalent unit. There is no closing. Life is easy. Oh, Remember, I have read somewhere here, or generally, both opening and closing doesn't come together. So they don't make it much complicated. So don't take headache, yeah? Stay calm. And a cost per equivalent unit you got to do. Weighted average is going to be straightforward, easy. So please do this activity home. I'm not giving it to you here. And that is the end of the chapter. Couple of questions. Yeah, only a couple. And that's it. Yeah, we still have 5-7 minutes, but we need more discussion regarding our, what do you call it, mock exam, revision class. That's it, guys. That is the end of our syllabus. Any question, please ask me now, because last 4 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever it is remaining, I will give you guideline for the revision. And after the revision class, week after, next week is our revision class. Week after is our new course, which is final accounts preparation. How many of you didn't do final accounts preparation? Can you please tell me? Can you please write? Like, how many of you didn't do? I mean, didn't learn or didn't pass it, final accounts preparation? Please write down. Are you people there, or you just gone? How many of you? I haven't done it. You will now. Okay, good. I got one. Where are other people? Okay, please write down who has done or who hasn't done it. Write all of you, please. Let's see how many has done and how many hasn't done. Because last time I asked you, some of you have done it, yeah. Yeah, Payal, you done. Evelina haven't done. Yadu didn't done it, do it. IOV, I have done it, okay. Anastasia, I have done. Yep, passed the mock only. Mock only, please do the real exam. I have done it. Agnesis said, but I did not pass the final exam. Oh, only 6%. Why don't you watch my videos for final accounts preparation? You know, Agnesis, I have fantastic videos. Most 80% syllabus is covered from my video, YouTube video. Anthony didn't do it. So it's a mix I can see. Out of 12, real exam is still on the list. Anastasia, what do you mean by that? Have you done the course and you still need to do the real exam? I think so. You still didn't do the exam. Hannah didn't do the exam, but did you do the course? I have passed the exam, IOV, well done. Alexandra, haven't done it. Okay, so it's a mix I can see. I would assume half of you have done it. Final accounts preparation, half didn't. So next week is our revision. Week after, I'm gonna start final accounts preparation. I did the course, but didn't manage the exam due to the COVID, Anastasia saying. Okay, but all the best with that exam. Please do it ASAP. As long as it is fresh in your memory, it's good to do. Regarding the revision, I'm coming back. Next week is the revision. Is the revision online, online or in class? Online. Revision next week, yeah? It is online, yeah? But revision is going to be on the, now 2 options. The one already I emailed you. You remember I emailed you one of the BPP mock exam. We can take on that paper, or we can take on AAT. AAT has got its own mock, similar like BPP, but from the AAT website, I got a mock. So which one? Tell me. Hannah says AAT. Which one you'd like to prefer? AAT, Yadu says AAT, Payal Patel AAT. Okay, fantastic. More people, what do you say? AAT, fantastic, AAT done. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send you the AAT exam question in advance from the AAT. The mock exam I will send you. It will be on a Word file, yeah, and the answers would be on a PDF file. So I will send you both. Normally I send only question, but I'll send you both question and answer. Be honest with you. Try it with the same question paper. We will go over in the revision class. Yeah. We'll be asking loads of questions, exam technique, and how many marks, how many minutes are there. I think there are some 170 marks. I think so. And 2.5 hours. 60 plus 60 plus 30. So 150 minutes and 170 marks. So 170 divided by 150. 150 minutes, isn't it? Yeah, 150 divided by 170. You get less than a minute to do 1 mark question. But believe me, if you know the things, you can finish the question, the whole question 30 minutes earlier. Within 2 hours, everything finished. Some questions are boom, straightforward, done. Some are lengthy. Yeah, but if it is a worth of 14 marks question, please try to do it in 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, 14 to 15 marks question. That is the norm. Okay, so okay, if anybody wants to book the exam, they can talk to KBM people. Still it is not open, real exam. Payal is asking, but don't know how to book the real exam, because everything is still not yet normal. It's going to be within a couple of weeks time. So especially education sector is heavily affected. Government doesn't want to open educational institutions. Yeah, they don't want to take chances. That's it. So from July, means next month, exams gonna take place. That's what I know from AAT. Yeah. Anything else, people? Any more question or anything else? I hope that's fairly enough. I'll send you the email within a couple of days' time. Please revise thoroughly. Take this module seriously. Otherwise, if you have failed by 5%, 6%, even 1%, that is a failure. Yeah, that means you didn't give your 100%. Yeah? So please give your 100%. Do all the mock. They're in AAT website. There are 2 online mock, 1 or 2 offline mock. BPP, there are 2, 3 mocks. If you finish everything, ask me. I have a lot. I have from Kaplan book. I have from even BPP teachers resources. A lot. Means you will be tired of asking, but you need to show me the proof that you have done all of it, and then I will send you more. Okay, I think that's all. Then goodbye. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your prayers and concern. See you next week. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.